So without further ado, I want to introduce two of my dear friends, Miss Sandi Synstad and Heather Quesenberry.
Well, it's going to be really hard to follow what we heard this morning, but we're going to sure try. So we're going to start our dental visit out today like we do every dental hygiene visit, and that's by going over our medical and dental histories. So I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about my dental history. I actually was raised by an amazing dad. I'm going to cry. I lost him this year, but he taught me two things in life. Number one is to always be on time. And number two is he always checked behind me to make sure I did things right. So he taught me to be a great dental hygienist. Sorry about that. I actually went to dental hygiene school right out of high school. I think I was the only 18-year-old in my class. And I loved dental hygiene from day one. It was the most amazing job to me ever. I loved everything about it. I loved the patient care that I gave. I loved meeting new people. I loved building relationships. And what I loved more than anything was educating my patients. To me, educating my patients was the most amazing thing I could ever do. In fact, I loved it so much they came up with a new award my year for excellence in patient education because I was the nerd that spent all of my time educating my patients. I graduated dental hygiene school in 1986. And in 1987, I got a call from a Dr. Bruce Hutchison asking me if I was looking for a job. And I wasn't looking for a job, but because we had a mutual friend, I went and talked to him, and we had a great connection from day one. So in April of 1987, I started my job with Dr. Bruce Hutchison, and subsequently Dr. Michael Gorman at Smiles for Centerville. And I was there for almost 32 years, and it was an amazing job. I couldn't have asked for better bosses or a better team. We were given so many opportunities to elevate ourselves within that practice. We had training through Fortune Management, through Crown Counsel, so many great ways to make ourselves better leaders, better people. And I also was one that always wanted to do better for myself and always elevate what I did within our practice. So I was the first one that couldn't wait to take on digital x-rays. I was taught to dip my x-rays. And I was so excited to take on bacteria testing when we tested the etiology of our disease. I was the first one to jump on board to do assisted hygiene to see how that could elevate the care we gave our patients. And I was so excited to train our dental assistant team to take over the pediatric portion of our hygiene schedule. As my children grew up and they left home, I was able to give more of myself to work. I took on more hours, and I also took on so much more responsibility at work. I took on the agendas for all of our team meetings. I took on the culture of the practice. I led all of our team meetings. I took on all the maintenance in the practice. I helped do all the scheduling. Kim Davis was my practice manager, and anything she needed help with, I was right there for her. I just couldn't do enough to help our team, help our practice grow. And our office was singing. We were an amazing team. We had great patient care we were given. We had an amazing team with awesome culture. And it couldn't have been any better. And then we found out in 2016 that we were partnering with corporate dentistry. And I felt like that all of the doors that had been open to me for so many years were going to be closed. But actually, Lightwave came into my life, and I was pleasantly surprised, as all of you were, I'm sure. It was amazing. I met Justin and David, and I learned their values: hardworking, honest, caring, and growth-minded. And they were values that were super important to me as well. I'm sure most of you knew from my email this week that my daughter was expecting a baby that was going to be born with lots of medical needs that required a long hospitalization and surgeries. So I couldn't be in a clinical setting for the next year of my life with having to help her. And I learned that Lightwave had lots of new opportunities that were open for me that I hadn't seen before. So in 2018, I left the practice I loved, my doctors I adored, my teammates that were my dearest friends over there on the front row. And I went and started working for Lightwave Dental. Was it hard? It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I missed my patients, I missed my family at work, but it was also the best thing I've ever done. I cried for months, but it was the best thing I've ever done. And I stand before you here, so honored and blessed to serve each of you in this room. I love elevating the care you give your patients and giving you tools for that, and I love coaching your team for success. But what I love more than anything is walking into a practice and seeing people like our next speaker that I see potential in them to do more and be more, as I saw in Heather Quesenberry.
Thank you, Sandy. Let me tell you guys a little bit about myself as well. I've been working as a clinical hygienist for 11 years. I work with Blue Ridge Dental Group, which is in southwestern Virginia. I knew whenever I was in high school that I wanted to be a hygienist. My passion's definitely in the health field. I knew that I wanted to work one-on-one with other people. I have some family members who've worked in dentistry, and I just felt that hygiene was my calling. Whenever I applied for the hygiene program at a local college, there was a waiting list. It was 2 years long, and I thought to myself, do I really want to wait that long to start a program? But I did. And as soon as I graduated, got my license, I worked in a small practice, a one doctor, two hygienist practice, like Clifton said. I loved my job there. I loved my family, my coworkers. It felt like home. We even went on vacations together, cruises. It felt good, life was good. In 2018, I was introduced to Lightwave Dental. I immediately freaked out. I went straight to Google, seeing what I could find. I knew that this was the end of our family-oriented practice. I was getting discouraged, getting anxiety, thinking about what was getting ready to happen, the change that was coming. Thought, do I need to look for another job? Shortly afterwards, a few months in, all of our hygienists within Blue Ridge met together for a hygiene training. It was with someone in Lightwave named Sandi. I had no idea what to expect. I figured somebody was probably coming in to tell us we were doing everything wrong and this is how we got to do it now. But as soon as I left that meeting with her, I had a new spark in me that I didn't have before. And I realized that I was just giving my patients mediocre care, and I wanted to do more. Sandi's enthusiasm and her passion to help other hygienists be more and do more was just evident to me, and I wanted that too. Sandi, thank you for that.
I've got the best job ever. So the next thing we do in our hygiene visit is we diagnose. We diagnose our patients using our Diagnodent, our loops, our periodontal probe, and our dental x-rays. And those tools allow us to see deeper than you would normally see with the naked eye. So I'm asking you, do you look deeper within yourself to find out what you truly want to do? I will tell you, I'm a huge goal setter. I set goals every year, personal, professional, and financial. And I'd set a goal probably 10 years before Lightwave came into our practice that I wanted to coach outside of a clinical setting, coach hygienists, do more, be more of a teacher. But when the job actually fell on my lap, I couldn't even think about something I'd wanted for so long. All I could think about were the surface concerns that I had. Like, would I want my old job back? Would I be sorry that I left my job? What would my patients do without me? And they were actually fine, as Dr. Gorman told me they would be. I just worried about all those things that made me so anxious. Was I too old? I was 52 years old and I was starting a brand new career. Would it be too hard for me? I mean, I went from polishing teeth on a Wednesday to doing PowerPoints and spreadsheets on a Monday. It was a pretty big learning curve for me. But you know what? I had to get past all those concerns on the surface and look deep and find out what I really, truly wanted to do. What do you truly want to do and what holds you back? What concerns do you have that hold you back from doing that?
Yeah, there's always going to be struggles. There's going to be things that hold us back, roadblocks that push us back. There may be an opportunity that's right in front of you and you may not even be looking for it. What is it that truly holds you back? For me, it's being comfortable. It's being a follower. It's letting someone else step ahead of me just to let them do that work. It's much easier for me to do that. For me, it's being afraid of rejection, disappointment, disappointing my patients. I'm afraid of rejection. I avoid conflict. It's the what ifs. And I've lived in that what if world. With Lightwave and Sandi, they've provided the resources, the education that I've needed, not just in my work life, but my personal as well. Sandi comes to our offices, she'll check in, making sure we've got everything we need. She sends an email out every Monday to our hygienist, just letting us know updates and making sure that we're thriving, we have what we need to work. 3 years ago, I stepped into a new Blue Ridge Dental Group practice part-time. I was just ready for some change, something a little different, and I was overwhelmed within a couple of weeks. I'm thinking, what have I got myself into? The patience and the care that was given there was just lacking. And even in that care that was given, it was established prior to even when Blue Ridge Dental Group took over, so it hadn't just started. But there was almost zero perio treatments being done. Hardly any periodontal charting to be found anywhere. Hardly any fluorides being offered, even to those patients who had benefit coverage for it. I was told that these patients would just say no to treatment and that they weren't used to this new stuff, and that bothered me. I finally saw that lack in myself and in the care that was given, even by me. And that's when I realized if I wanted to, I really could make a difference. And that's when that what if spark elevated me from being just a comfortable hygienist to a proactive one. A few months later, working in that office, it's currently where I am today, Sandi met with me during lunch, and I'll never forget, we had Chick-fil-A. You knew what you were doing. But she asked me a question, and she said, Heather, where do you see yourself in this office? What do you see in your future here? I definitely was not expecting that out of her, but I was honest, and I told her, I said, Sandi, I love my job here. I love my coworkers. We've got a great thing going. My doctor is very supportive in everything we do. We've turned this office completely around, and it feels good. I'd love to be here years to come. But she was not content with my answer at all. She said, Heather, I see more in you. And that phrase has brought me here today. And now I lead a group of amazing hygienists within Blue Ridge Dental Group, and I'm here on this stage. I would have never stood here 3 years ago or even 4 months ago when Sandi said that we could speak together at this event. I've thought of everything I could to get out of this, and I was this close. But here I am. You know, I've truly elevated myself, and I've elevated the care I give my patients. With that new foundation, I knew I wanted a strong, a balanced, a growing hygiene program for our team at Blue Ridge. The office I'm at today, I only work with one other hygienist, and she's wonderful. We make it a point to always communicate and encourage one another. I'm very thankful for her. Our office has went from 0 perio treatment to 30% acceptance. We went from 0 fluoride treatments to 50%, and most of the time even more than that, of our patients saying yes. Don't get me wrong, these patients have asked a lot of questions. They want to know why, all of a sudden, why do they need these services? But it's not the patient that changed. It was me. It was me wanting to give and show those patients more, show them what they deserve, show them what's available to them. And here I am today. I know I've truly elevated myself, and I've elevated the care that I give my patients.
She does amazing, by the way. So what we do next in our dental offices is we get our patients to accept treatment, and I think we could all agree as clinicians, we give the patient mirror, and what we love to hear is, wow, whether you've taken the stain off their front teeth, whether you've just made their teeth look better from cleaning them, whether you've put a new veneer on. When the patient says, wow, it just feels so good. What do you do every day to create wow in your life and in your practice? I can tell you, as Heather said, if someone would have told me 10 years ago I would be on stage at the Gaylord Hotel in National Harbor speaking to 400 leaders in dentistry, I would have never believed them. But I can tell you, here we both stand, and we will both agree, it feels so amazing. It's a true wow in our lives today. Each person in this room has the ability to create a wow in your daily life. How about when a doctor does an implant and it's just perfect? It's a great wow for you. Or a dental assistant that scans that patient and they accept treatment and you change their life because they did Invisalign. Or how about the practice manager that leads that practice meeting, and when those employees walk out of that door, you know they're engaged, they're ready to crush the day. That feels so good. That's such a wow. Or even the hygienist that knows in their heart they're giving the patient the very best care they can give them. That's such a great wow moment. So I would ask you to look for ways in your life each day and in your practice to create those wows. And we have some questions for you. Do you just want to be average?
Or do you want to be amazing?
Do you want to have a mediocre day?
Or are you content giving mediocre care?
Are you looking for greatness in yourselves?
Or do you see your greatness in others around you?
Or are you looking to elevate your seat to a different seat within dentistry?
Or do you want to elevate your passion in the seat you're in right now?
I will tell you, Heather and I have both elevated our seats within the last few years, and we love it. It's totally changed our future, our profession, and how we see our lives. I can tell you, I love my seat. It was super uncomfortable at first, but it fits me great right now.
And I've elevated the seat that I'm in. I've truly elevated that profession and my passion for hygiene care.
So we'd like to take a break. Does anyone have any questions or comments for us before we continue? Finish up this hygiene visit. Sorry to bring work to your great event this weekend. So the last thing you do in a hygiene visit is we always ask our patients the same question. What flavor fluoride would you like today? So we're going to ask each of you, what flavor fluoride do you want to walk out of here today? What is your attitude going to be? How are you going to feel?
Are you mint? You play it safe. You're like myself. You know that you're definitely not going to push the limits because you're going to be just fine.
Or are you orange? You're willing to color outside the lines a little bit, but you know it's going to be safe because orange always tastes good.
Are you caramel? Those people are going to take a risk. They know that may be a little scary, they'll be okay, but in the end, this really could be something amazing. How can you elevate what you do, the care that you give right now, and the position that you hold to be your very best? And today, that is our challenge for you.
You're the best.